This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast, where CEOs of companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Earl. I'm Shannon Williams. I am one of the founders and the president here at Rancher Labs. And my focus is on helping to build Rancher into a company that can solve a lot of organizations' technology challenges as they transform from sort of historical ways of building applications towards more modern ways. We help organizations implement containers and Kubernetes and a lot of, the latest approaches to application development. And just this summer, we were acquired by SUSE, one of the leading providers of Linux to the world. So we're going through that transition right now, which is super interesting and exciting. And it's a really exciting time for us.
Excellent. Question number 2. What's the best thing about being, in this case, the CEO or co-founder? What's the best thing about that?
The best thing is the people. I mean, it always is. The opportunity to, as a founder, to build a team. We started Rancher 6 years ago, and the opportunity to build a team and bring in, all the people you really have loved working with over your career. I've loved every day working this. 3 of my 4 co-founders are people I started a previous company with. So I enjoyed working with them so much. I wanted to do it again. But more importantly, if you look at the first 30, 40 people we hired, probably 70% had worked with one of us in some capacity. And so we brought in these people we loved working with. One of them was an old mentor of mine when I was just getting started in technology. Others were peers, friends, and a lot of people that I respected from a distance and was able to come and talk about what we were trying to do and convince them to join us. And so it has been a joy bringing those people together and seeing them grow, seeing them influence us, and through all the struggles, successes, and failures, building a really close working relationship that you just don't want to end. You want to keep working with these people every day, forever.
Excellent. Question number 3. Hear from other CEOs that leading their team and being able to see the road ahead can sometimes be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there's always challenges. The reality of building a startup or running an established company, it doesn't really, nothing's easy. It never comes easily. There's, everything is about kind of understanding where you're at and kind of putting a pretty critical eye to the current business situation. I think my co-founder, Shannon, who I've worked with now for 12 years, one of the things I love about him so much is, even when things are going really well, he has a tendency to identify the challenge before, the next challenge as it's coming down the road. And, very often that's helped us pivot, move, refocus, put energy into different areas. So you're right. It's always challenging. And the reality is, as a leader, you are the sum of your decisions, right? You have to own them. You have to live with them. The decisions you make are what define your success or failure. And, we don't get them all right. We get plenty wrong, but it's owning those decisions, consciously making them, not having decisions forced upon you by circumstance, but really understanding your situation and making choices that I think dictates success. And, you don't always have consensus. You don't always get everyone pushing in the same direction, but part of leadership is, figuring out where you have to go and push the company in a direction.
Excellent. Well said. Question number 4, what piece of insight, which you may have already done here, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
For me, I don't know where to start. I mean, there's so many things I've learned that go against some of my natural instincts. At times I'm incredibly in favor of promoting people from within, and yet I've definitely done that at times where I've realized I've pushed people into situations that weren't places they could succeed. I constantly find myself, rationalizing things that aren't working and trying to come up with why they're not working instead of sometimes dropping the hammer, stop going down that path and reshape. The list of things that I've struggled with is long. But what I would say that I love is every business at its core is about creating demand, finding demand and creating demand. And if you can push aside all that noise, push aside all that complexity, and really focus on, do you have demand for what you're doing? Is the market growing for what the service you're trying to offer? It really tends to be the piece of the puzzle that if you get it right, everything becomes easier. And when you have pull in the market, when the market is agreeing with you that your product has fit and that you need to be there and that they need something, maybe yours, maybe some other one, but they need something like what you're selling, that's when you start to find success. And a lot flows from that. So I spend a lot of my time bouncing back and forth between customer success and marketing and trying to stitch together what that question of demand looks like, and where are we, how well does it fit, and where does it need to go?
Very good. Question number 5. What other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Earl, I've gotten this question a few times recently from different people, and there are so many great people. It's one great thing about about technology is that it's happening everywhere, and sometimes I think there's too much attention played to Silicon Valley. One of the companies that has been really integral in seeing a lot of organizations transform from kind of legacy application development to modern application development is a company called Redapt. They are headquartered up in Redmond, Washington. Rick Cantu has been the CEO there a long time. I couldn't be more impressed with the way they've grown over the last 12, 15 years, consistently through all sorts of different markets. Really impressive team, really impressive leader.
Very good. Now for the final question, question number 6. How do you celebrate a win?
We celebrate wins a lot with, there's a lot of sharing the story. We have this, we use Slack a lot to communicate internally, and we have a win wire, it's called, where every time we win a big new account, the rep really writes about it, and he takes some time. They talk about the situation. What was this previous situation? Who were we talking to? Who were the decision makers? Who were the buyers? Who were the maybe people who were opposed to this? We talk about the whole team effort. We talk about, in our case, there's a lot of technical salespeople that help. There's a lot of, there's people all the way back in the marketing organization that help connect us with that. We talk about the product features that drove the decision that made them decide our product fit their needs the best. So we try to celebrate as a team, and then we really reserve our big celebration for our accomplishments that are milestones. So while we celebrate an individual win with a lot of high fives, maybe we'll these days we'll grab a Zoom and have a cocktail and chat about it. We really celebrate every year when we look and say, did we achieve our big goals? And every year we set 3, and it's been going since we started the company. We set 3 big goals, and we celebrate when we achieve all 3. And they're often a blend of traditional goals like metrics around revenue or customer acquisition, but there are also a lot of goals that are about product and did we disrupt the market? Did we do something that generated a lot of usage? Sometimes we too often measure things by revenue or how many clients you have, when the reality is it's how much those people use your product, how frequently they use it, how much they value it, that really is the big determinant of longevity, stickiness, and long-term impact on revenue. And so we talk a lot about the features and the capabilities that need to get in the product, and that did achieve that at the end of each year. We don't always hit them. Sometimes we miss those goals. They're usually hard goals to hit. They're asking you to disrupt something. But when we hit them, we celebrate big. So, this year we took the whole team to Mexico right before COVID. We all went down and really celebrated a record-setting year, and really incredible accomplishment. So we try to find ways to take what is a virtual team already, bring us together, focus on what we're going to do next year, and celebrate all the success of the previous year.
Awesome. Shannon, it is a pleasure to have had you on today. How can people find you?
Earl, I'm pretty easy to find. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter, just Shannon Williams, Rancher Labs. You can find me pretty easily. My email is shannon@rancher.com, and I'm on Twitter at SMW355. So you can find me anywhere. Great to be here. Thanks for hosting this.
Excellent. You're most welcome. This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for The Gray Owl Company. Shannon, thank you.
Thank you, Earl.